If we identify that she's anything other than that, get the fuck out of here. Sayonara, bitch. You know what I'm
So
saying?
really quick, I just wanted to add, like I heard Karen's being brought up, but the thing I think the important distinction to make is that Karens are usually middle class white women that can weaponize their tears and weaponize them in a dangerous way against black people. That's very different, from somebody not liking you. It's just the difference between discrimination and racism, because racism is built on power. I have the power to affect your job. I have the power to affect where you live. I have the power to affect whether or not you get to be free or not. So this is why we fight for racism. It's not because people don't like us or we're so upset that what you think of us. What you think of us can ultimately affect our well-being. And that's the problem that I have. And as I was saying before with this woman, I just think that the judge starts off as that little girl in the classroom that says inflammatory racist things that she thinks nobody else is ever going to see and it's never going to see the light of day. But I think it's our job when we do catch it to address it, especially when we're talking about forums like school, like work, and other public places. It needs to be addressed if you're going to mix up with other races, other demographics, and other groups.
All right, go ahead.
I'm the one who brought up the Karen thing, so I wanted to respond to that. I think that makes obvious sense. I just think that when you look at it from the other perspective, like, so, okay, a white person might say, oh, that's a Shaniqua, right? And from that white person's perspective, they might be looking at that quote unquote Shaniqua as though she has the power to whoop my ass. She has the power to disrupt my business, disrupt my environment, meaning from their perspective, they have a fear as well. Whether or not that fear is justified based off of power, that's all subjective based off of the person. But what I'm saying is, just because it's happening to you doesn't mean it's different when it's happening to the other person. So from your perspective, oh, it makes sense to call them Karens because they have microaggressions and they can potentially use their tears and weaponize them. But from their perspective, they might see a black woman the same way. They might say she can weaponize her whatever against me. And there's a lot of white people that are scared of black people. So it's not like that's an impossible concept. So what I'm saying is it doesn't make it right on either end. Us calling them a Karen or them calling us a Shaniqua, it's the same thing. They're essentially classifying you based off of your race and judging you based off of your race. And that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about racism. I'm not talking about power dynamics because power dynamics can shift. What I'm talking about is simply from person to person, showing another person respect. If you don't want to be called a Shaniqua, it's probably not right to call somebody a Karen. I think that's just the golden rule. Treat others how you want to be treated. Nobody can sit here and make the argument that it's not okay to be called a Shaniqua while also saying there's a reason why it's justifiable to call these white women Karens. No human being wants to be classified based off of their physical characteristics alone. Every human being should be judged based off the content of their character, period. That's my belief. So at the end of the day, if we're going to be anti-racism and we're going to talk about judging people by the content of the character, we got to do it all across the board. It can't be okay for us to do to them because well, we can't be racist because we don't have power, but it's not okay for them to do. That's now creating another power imbalance. So let's eliminate the power imbalances and let's just treat each individual based off the content of their character. And I guarantee all of these problems will disappear.
All right, let's go to Cookie. I think Angela, do you want to get into? Okay.
I
All right,
feel like Miss DJ So Lovely. I feel like you fighting a good fight, sis. I do. I feel like you are absolutely genuine about what you're saying. But as a community, so because I've stopped laughing, I've calmed down because he makes me laugh and a few other people. Um, as a community, we have to learn how to. We can't assume everybody's on the same fight path as us. We have to separate ourselves from these um capitalistic asses, the attention seeking souls
Race
out
baiters.
here. Huh?
Race baiters.
Yes. And we have to detach ourselves from the people that's fighting the good fight and those type of people that's the college student girl is. Even her follow-up videos just screamed, "Look at me, help me, follow me." Guys, this is, I didn't want to leave my little flat, and what's going on with the white chick that you hated so much? Those are the things that I need to know. What was the process? Did she get
Actually
suspended?
didn't even, I'm not even speaking to her. I'm just speaking to the general conversation. I'm not so concerned about the young lady. I'm talking more to the subject. Even when we talk about, why black people are afraid of us versus why we're afraid of white people, I think that is two totally different conversations. They're afraid of us for their preconceived notions about us. We're afraid of them because they've done horrible things to us. So, we are
Yeah, and
coming
their
from
loss of
Preconceived
power
notions based off of their history. It's all
because they
preconceived
know
notions.
that.
we are coming from two completely different places when we're talking about fear.
Yeah, no,
And
I agree. No, I agree with that. All I was saying was, when we're fighting a good fight, and when we're like, oh, and I understand what you're saying. I completely understand what you're saying. But the only point that I was trying to make was, we have to learn how to separate clickbaiters and people like you who are actually fighting a good fight. Everybody that posts something, I'm a victim online, um, is not fighting a good fight, and I think that's where a problem lies in our community too.
I can
Cause
I can hear you on that. I see, I'm right in between. I'm in a peculiar area. I'm in between the baby boomer logic and the Gen Z logic. I'm like, I literally live both lives. You understand? So it's like, I understand that boomer logic, like, yo, suck it up, this is our existence, y'all already know what time it is. I grew up in that. But I also really do understand the Gen Z's and the younger millennials that's like, yo, how long are we gonna suck it up? When are we gonna start saying something? Because it seems like since the 70s we kind of stopped doing this and talking up for ourselves and moving the needle in the conversation. And I think that's why I respect the Gen Zers, because they're so articulate and they're so boisterous about what their rights are and what they're owed. And so I'm kind of in the middle of both ideologies, if that makes sense.
same. I just feel like y'all should put that paper in their life.
I
Person in charge is telling you feel unsafe, do something, but recording it and doing a diary, a 4-part series, girl, stop it.